Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. The Democrats have hired a kicker. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. And stop the music. Here we go. Let's get it started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. I see there's a few people here. Oh, well, really just a few, but that's okay because I'm here for you no matter how many people are in the show. So, we're going to get things going because I started off by saying the Democrats have a kicker now. Yes, they can field a full football team with the presidential candidates. Well, as long as the kicker can punt also. Bill de Blasio has decided to jump in the race. Oh, yippee, Skippy. And I'll tell you what, the New Yorkers are fired up because they maybe have a chance to get rid of Bill de Blasio. So I just found this. Well, this is on Twitter this morning. Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York City, is the 23rd Democrat to jump into the 2020 presidential race. And that's why I say they have a kicker now, because they have enough candidates to field a football team on both sides of the ball, plus a kicker, the kicker punter. And, Bill de Blasio, it says Bill de Blasio to kick off presidential tour in Iowa following morning show appearance. So, hey, he's the kicker, right? Am I right? Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Well, I do have. Oh, hang on. I'm going to make myself be big here. Okay. I'm back to being big again. I do have my cup of reparations coffee. Taking a sip. Speaking of which, reminder, tomorrow, the originator of Reparation Coffee is going to be our guest on the show. Hotep Jesus, also known on Twitter as Vibe High, will be our guest host tomorrow, and that's on Dog Park Friday. He'll join us for the news segment, and we might even do a little interview just so you can kind of get to know Hotep Jesus a little bit. It should be a fun show. He's a funny dude. And he's a very interesting dude, and he has kind of an interesting path to where he is in life. So we're gonna get to know him a little bit. That should be good fun. But for the few of you who are here already, good morning, Max Del Rio, who was first today. Max Del Rio is first. Good morning, Mr. Monopoly. Good morning, Lord Rothschild. Good morning, MC. Okay. Hammer time. I don't know. I can't help it. I'm going to do that forever. Good morning, Seamus Derby. Good morning, Maniac Man. Let's see here. Now, I'm just looking here. What? Not 100% this week, but I should change by tomorrow. I'll mainly be lurking. Well, I hope you're better. I know who that is. The way that barista acted was kind of cringy to me. Well, I don't know, cringe. She was taken aback. And, young people are gullible because the front part of their brain isn't fully developed until they're 25, and I don't think she was 25 years old yet. She just we'll even watch that clip because it's a funny clip. If you're not familiar. Good morning, Pincalo, the driving ape man. How you doing? And Tyler F. Good morning. Cracked. Wow, you're here early. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, let's Bill de Blasio. Back to him. He's the 23rd candidate. Let's see. Bill de Blasio, the Democratic mayor of New York City, is headed to Iowa Thursday for the start of his presidential campaign because we need more people running. Can we get a double baker's dozen? Come on, let me get a double baker. Let's see if we can get up to 26. I really kind of hope that they all make it to the debates. I want one debate stage with like 30 people up there. That would be hilarious. and it'd be worthless, but it'd be kind of hilarious. But everyone's kind of jockeying around, seeing who can say the craziest things to get attention. We'll get into that a little bit. So anyway, let's see. De Blasio and his wife, Shirlane McRae, will appear on Good Morning America in Times Square Thursday morning, according to the tweet from the show. Probably already happened around 8. Yeah, that happened about almost, I'm going to say 2 hours ago, roughly. And let's see, Olivia, whatever name, a mayoral spokesman working on his campaign to confirm his appearance will be around 8:10 a.m. In the evening, he will depart to Iowa, and on Friday, he's expected to speak at the Woodbury County Democratic Party's Truman Club in Sioux City. Over the weekend, he will travel to South Carolina. So he's heading out to some of the early states, which is kind of what you have to do. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. Those are the first 3 basic primary states. And a lot of times, those states kind of determine who ends up being your candidate, although not always. But it does help to come in at least in the top 3 or 4 in those early primary states to remain viable. There's going to be a lot of people. I got a feeling that half of these candidates will be gone before the first primary. But that's that. By the way, good morning, Johnny Hellcat. Good morning, all you need. I'm glad to see you here. So, anyway, the news was broken on Twitter by a high school student, Gabe Fleischer, who wrote Wednesday afternoon, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio to headline an event in Sioux City, Iowa on Friday, which the local Democratic Party is calling the first stop on his presidential announcement tour. The initial online announcement of the event misspelled the mayor's name as de Blasio and has since been corrected. Oh, so the Iowans don't even, people, unless you're, it's funny, a lot of these people who are running, I guarantee you there's people who have no idea who they are. And so, it's their job to get out and, get out and let the people know, I mean, but I still don't know. I have no idea why Bill de Blasio is getting in the race. I just don't. Anyway, so let's get a little mood music going here. I'm going to click the button, and you can tell me if it's too loud. It's hard to tell. Yesterday, I didn't realize you couldn't even hear it yesterday. I went back and listened to the playback because I try to fix things and make sure things work, and you couldn't even hear it. So I'm just curious, can you hear it today? I turned it up a little bit, but I wish here, I'm going to turn it up just a tiny bit more. You tell me if that's a good, well, I know it's good because it's da funk. But I want you to tell me if it's too loud, too soft, or just about right. And if it's too loud, I might just talk louder to get over it. Oh, there you go. You think it's, okay, that's, first person says I think it's good. I'm going to go with that. All right, let's, speaking of Bill de Blasio, though, now, I would love to say that Bill de Blasio is a, well, let's just put it this way. Bill de Blasio's, today is FTG Thursday, right? Today's FTG Thursday. And although Bill de Blasio has announced his run for president and is trying to impress a lot of people, in the very recent past, well, and often, Bill de Blasio says some stupid shit. And Bill de Blasio is the guy who's kind of said that, New York City in their school systems, they're not going to have meat on Mondays as part of the Green New Deal that they're kind of implementing in New York City. They think it's such a great idea. They're going to implement some stuff already. And so they're not having meat in schools on Monday, at least as far as the school lunches go. And they're doing, let's just say they're doing a lot of dumb things in New York City. But here's one that really, really is kind of cracking me up. And this one's from the Daily Caller. Let's put it on the screen. So, black Brooklynites attack Hasidic Jews. De Blasio blames Trump and white supremacy. Now, this is a trick. In a recent spate of hate crime attacks on Hasidic Jews in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, virtually all the perpetrators have been African American, according to local activists, elected officials, and victims. And yet, at a recent news briefing reporting an 82% increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the city, when New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio was asked about the attacks, he connected the attacks to national trends blaming white supremacy and nativism. Now, I got a feeling the people in these people who've done these attacks that they're talking about in New York City, who are probably the worst white supremacists on the planet, if you ask me. It's really clear that forces of white supremacy have been unleashed, de Blasio said in a press conference earlier this month. A lot of folks used to be told it was unacceptable to be anti-Semitic. It was unacceptable to be racist. And now they're getting more permission. I'm just going to try and finish this paragraph first. We've got to make it very clear that it's unacceptable in our society. It's the best way we do that. And the best way we do that here is by finding the perpetrators and prosecuting them and ensuring they feel the consequences of their acts. Yet there's no evidence of the perpetrators in Brooklyn were nativists or white supremacists. In most of the attacks caught on video, it was clear the perpetrators were black. For example, in a prominent case last year, a black teenager was arrested after being caught on tape furiously beating a Hasidic man with a wooden stick. Then in late January, 3 men were caught on video shoving a Hasidic man violently to the ground, punching him and leaving him cuts and bruises. 3 African-American men, Nazar Walters, Tayshawn Bannister, and Joshua Peters, were arrested for the attack and face hate crime charges. The 3 are also suspects in another attack on the same night. So they go through a few other of these. But de Blasio wants to try and blame Trump. I doubt if any of these dudes are Trump supporters. They could be, you never know, but I'm just venturing to guess that maybe not. Also, the other thing this is another one of those articles. So he says, let's see, in a recent news briefing reporting an 82% increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the city. And he says he's connecting the attacks to national trends. But again, national trends. Okay, so we've talked about this many times on this show. The national trends where they say, hate crimes are on the rise by 17% because the FBI, the FBI statistics say so. But we've already said that, that's because they've added, over 1,000 new agencies reporting crimes. There's been and there's also been just a huge surge in fake hate crimes. It's especially most of the ones that have been on the national media. But this is just one of those things, you're trying to figure out, what's the cause of this attack, and you're trying to figure out, we want to blame it on the new what's the word? Just, we want to blame it on, we want to blame it on Trump. That's the bottom line. They want to, they're trying to make all this about Trump, and it's not. It's just, we changed how we look at these things. I'm sorry, to me, a crime is a crime. Your motivation for the crime, it may help you prevent crime, but there certainly shouldn't be a separate category for it. But then again, sometimes a hate crime can be has been interpreted as just something saying something doesn't like, or something offending. But there, I people who do things for shitty reasons are shitty people. That's a given. But it's still a crime. However, the crime happens. Now, he looks at this. It's interesting because this is, his words are, he's running for president now. So I hope somebody asks him about this in the next week. Now, I guarantee you, no one in the news media, at least the corporate mainstream news media will probably ask him about this, but maybe someone on the trail will ask him about it. I don't know. Moving on, there's also, remember there was a school shooting recently in Colorado? Have you heard much about it lately? I mean, has it been all over the news? Like, remember how every other, a lot of these shootings or whatever, given huge national prominence. And in fact, there was when it first happened, there's all this buzz on Twitter. Oh, we have another, Trump caused hate crime school shooting, yada yada yada. Well, not so fast, okay? And you probably have already heard about this, but so NBC News put this on here. Now, I had to search for this. Now, I don't know that there's no corresponding story of the arraignment. Remember, I'm going to use the example of Dylan Roof, who was, plastered all over the screens, and his arraignment was, they had him video of him being arraigned, and they had all this other stuff. Well, this one hasn't gotten so much attention, and a school shooting that's not getting a lot of attention. Well, here's the story. 2 teenage suspects in a shooting spree in Denver at a Denver area STEM school that killed 1 student, wounded 8 others, were each charged Wednesday with 48 counts of murder, attempted murder, and other crimes. Devin Erickson, 18, and Alec McKinney, 16, were arrested May 7th for allegedly opening fire in 2 separate areas of STEM school Highland Ranch. Police had initially identified the 16-year-old suspect, who is listed in court documents as Maya Elizabeth McKinney, as a girl, but an attorney said she prefers male pronouns. A district attorney said Wednesday that McKinney is being tried as an adult. Kendra Castillo, I normally don't say these names, but I'm just going to continue this. Kendra Castillo was killed, 18 was killed, and 8 others were injured. All of the victims have since been released from hospitals. Erickson, who had shackles around his hands and feet, did not speak during his hearing Wednesday. He's scheduled to have a status hearing June 7th. Both suspects made their first court appearance last Wednesday in separate hearings at Douglas County Courthouse, where a judge ordered them to be held without bond, according to Reuters. Police said Erickson and the second suspect were armed with handguns, blah, 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 blah. Before they entered the middle school, they were able to get deep inside the building because they were students at the school, police said. One of the suspects was restrained by a security officer and taken into custody by police shortly after authorities arrived. The other suspect was detained in the hallway. Okay, so let me get farther down here. This just tells about the struggle, what happened. One of the kids, basically 2 guys, instead of running, attacked the kid with the gun, and 1 got killed in the process, but they were able to get the gun away from him and subdue him. So they probably saved a lot of lives. They basically tackled him, and the one kid said, I had been taught every time anybody ever talked about this kind of thing, they said, get away, escape from the shooter, and wait for the authorities to arrive, Jones said, declining to say which shooter he and his friends disarmed. This kid's name is Joshua Jones. He deserves to have his name said, because he's one of the kids who stopped it. But in that moment, I just did what was best for me, he said, and I'm sure everybody else in the room did the same thing. Court documents show that school officials warned of potential threats in the months before the deadly shooting. All right, I'll move down here. Let's see. All right, so then they just tell you about the counts and all the different things they were charged with. I'm fascinated by this, though, how quickly this story was killed. And so obviously, now I don't care about the fact that both of these kids are left-wing kids and a transgender kid, so they're going to protect these kids. And so a little update here. Brian Severda, who is, what does he do? He's a reporter at Daily Wire. Breaking. Douglas County District Judge Teresa Slade has sealed the entire case file of the 2 teens who shot up the STEM school last week, banning the public from seeing it. One of the shooters was transgender, the other hated Christians and appeared to be pro-Satan, pro-occult. The And then also the transgender shooter's father was a criminal illegal alien deported multiple times. Now, this isn't necessarily relevant to that kid, but this probably tells you why why you're probably not going to hear a whole lot about this case as it moves forward. Because it doesn't play to the narrative. It doesn't play to the racist, sexist, whatever, the, right-wing nut job going after, gun nuts. Nope. This is something else, and we don't want it. That story, you're not allowed to hear about anymore. So that's just, isn't that special? That's just special. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Good morning, Jaeger Pony. I just see you popped in now, and there's probably some other people back there. The story was killed because potential victims stopped the nut job. Yeah, that's the other thing, the kids stopped the kids. And they weren't even armed, but that's okay. All right. Let's see. I got a couple other stories here. Let's see. Oh shoot. I just closed that one. Back into, there's a fascinating story about the, we've been talking a lot about the report, the Mueller report, and all the happenings going on with the president, and the fact that there is no collusion, and they're still fighting over the obstruction of justice. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes, because it looks like Brennan, Comey, who else? There's a whole bunch of people who are getting investigated right now, and I got a feeling that there's going to be a few people that are going to have some legal problems. Well, here's here's another one that has been found, and I'll just pop this up here. The FISA footnote that could doom collusion hoaxers. It is the controversial footnote to the infamous application in American political history. The application submitted to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court for approval to wiretap Donald Trump campaign aide Carter Page. And it could lead to the downfall of the Trump collusion schemers, as it will help make the case that they misled the secret court to target an innocent man in an effort to thwart Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Now, if you have been following this at all, and let me go on the side here. So the big thing is they got this FISA warrant against this guy, Carter Page. And, there are certain people on the right side of the aisle who are saying, hey, you know what? This document should have never been acted upon because, one, none of it was uncorroborated, and two, they didn't have any evidence to support what they were going to go investigate, and also this Steele dossier that they used. They never told the FISA court that this was Democratic/Hillary Clinton paid for opposition research. Now, the people who say no, they did tell them that they told them that this was opposition research, whatever. They told them. Well, first of all, that's what this story's about. Anyway, in an application filed with the FISA court on October 2016, former FBI Director James Comey accused Carter Page, a Trump campaign aide, of being a Russian agent. Now notice, one person, they have all these people that have been indicted, so to speak, and a couple people have pled guilty to things that had nothing to do with it. But notice Carter Page is conspicuously absent from that list of people who've been indicted. Nothing ever happened to Carter Page, and this is how this started. FBI Director James Comey accused Carter Page, a Trump campaign agent, of being a Russian agent. The initial warrant also was signed by former Deputy Attorney General and Trump foe Sally Yates. Oh, Sally Yates is another interesting individual that we'll probably talk about another day. The document is symbolic of how the Obama Justice Department was weaponized against the Trump campaign by corrupt partisans, many of whom, thankfully, now find themselves under investigation. Now, obviously, this is a This is a partisan news source, but still, the information is pretty good based on everything I've been reading. The FISA application at issue claimed the Russian government, in coordination with Page, was attempting to improperly and illegally influence the 2016 presidential election. The FISA court approved at the FBI's request, subsequently unleashing the most powerful government surveillance methods possible against Page. It's an order by the court to basically monitor that person 24/7, not just tap their phones, but to plant microphones and cameras and whatever it takes to capture their conversations, explained Kevin Brock, a former FBI intelligence official, in an interview this week. In other words, the FBI, at the behest of Comey, spied, now I know they hate that word, but spied on Carter Page for 1 year. But far from being a legitimate legal petition, the FISA application is an astonishing piece of political propaganda wielded for the most nefarious purposes. A February 2018 memo by Representative Devin Nunes, a former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, who a lot of people don't like, but I don't care, revealed how Comey and company cited the uncorroborated allegations in the dossier compiled by political operative Christopher Steele, another person who hates Trump, by the way, just FYI, as evidence that Page was a traitor and working with the Kremlin to disrupt the election. Steele had been hired in the spring of 2016 by Glenn Simpson, the founder of the political consulting firm Fusion GPS. You all know that name. I've said it here many times. To dig up Russian-related dirt on Trump. At the time, Simpson was working for the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign to smear Trump. Smear was reportedly paid $160,000 for his work. All of the payments were funneled through a political connected law firm to skirt campaign disclosure rules. That firm was called Perkins Coie. We've talked about that quite often. Good morning, Evil One. I see you here. But the pertinent details were intentionally omitted. Quote, neither the initial applications in October 2016 nor any of the renewals to disclose or reference the role of the DNC, Clinton campaign, or any party/campaign in funding Steele's efforts, even though the political origins of the political origins of the Steele dossier were known to senior DOJ and FBI officials, Nunes wrote. That's one quote from Nunes, and that's a fact. Even I don't care if Nunes is the messenger and you don't like Nunes. That is absolutely factual. I'm going to skip down because here's the, there was some, okay, so, well, actually this is important, so I'll read this too. The probe's defender point to a footnote. Now, so people saying that, okay, here's where they try to justify this. The probe's defender point to a footnote, some of which remains redacted, as proof they did inform the court of Steele's partisan benefactors. Most of the footnote attempts to present Steele, named as, quote, source number one, as credible, citing his past work as an FBI asset. Of course, not mentioning that he had been fired as an FBI asset, and stated the agency was unaware of any derogatory information pertaining to Steele. He's described as, quote, an FBI confidential human source, end quote, who gave details now known to be wrong to the agency about Page. That mention is tagged with the infamous footnote, quote, source number one, who now owns foreign business intelligence firm, was approached by an identified U.S. person who indicated to source one that a U.S.-based law firm had hired the identified U.S. person, who is Glenn Simpson, to conduct research regarding candidate number one, who is Donald Trump, ties to Russia. The identified U.S. person and source number one have a long-standing business relationship, the footnote read. The identified U.S. person hired source number one to conduct this research. The identified U.S. person never advised source number one as to the motivation behind the research into candidates number one's ties to Russia. The FBI speculates that the identified U.S. person was likely looking for information that could be used to discredit candidate number one's campaign. So that's the quote in the footnote. Notice anything missing in that quote, in that footnote. What didn't they say in that footnote? It said nothing about who wanted to discredit candidate number one's campaign. Now, if I'm a judge and I'm getting something like this, now granted, they say the judge might have just rubber stamped this and not really read it anyway, kind of like Rod Rosenstein says he never read it. But wouldn't you, if had they told the truth and said, okay, the FBI, instead of speculating, because this is, the FBI speculates as if they didn't know where this came from or didn't know why this information was being submitted, where this information came from. Because the last line of the footnote says, the FBI, quote, speculates that the identified U.S. person was likely looking for information that could be used to discredit candidate number one's campaign. Well, why were they speculating? They knew where this came from. They knew that this was opposition research from Fusion GPS for the Democratic National Committee, for the Hillary Clinton campaign, and paid for by those same two entities through Perkins Coie Law Firm. The FBI knew that. Why would they speculate that the information that was being sought could be used to discredit candidate number one, aka Donald Trump? So it continues. Now, that kind of obfuscation required some careful work. The Justice Department was well aware that Simpson was working on behalf of the Democrats. He had hired the wife of a top Justice Department official in late 2015 to collaborate with Steele on Trump-Russia opposition research. There's no mention of a candidate number two, which would have been Hillary Clinton, or the rival political party, which would have been the Democratic Party. Isn't that amazing? The authors engaged in literary gymnastics to avoid disclosing to the court the partisan nature of Steele's work and Simpson's Democratic patrons. It's unlikely, let's hope, that a secret court would approve the use of a powerful spying techniques against an American citizen if the court was aware the evidence had been collected by a paid emissary working for the citizen's political rivals. So anyway, yeah, so that's what they left out when they put this information for the Pfizer court. So this guy right here, I forgot the last one, but I'm not going to forget this one. Can I get an FTG for James Comey? Give me an FTG, ladies and gentlemen. Give me an FTG. Comey's in trouble. Comey is, and here's the other thing. Right now, so Comey and former CIA director at the time, John Brennan, are having a little spat right now. Have you heard about this? So, James Comey has been blaming. So they someone along the line insisted that the Steele dossier be included in their request for this information for Pfizer ones. And apparently, James Comey is blaming John Brennan, and John Brennan is blaming James Comey. They're like, no, he did it. 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 They're blaming each other. The bus is rolling, and I haven't quite figured out who's it's going to roll over first. But I got a feeling that, I got a feeling that some people are going to have some bus prints on their backs pretty quickly, because they're all now, and Andrew McCabe too. Of course, now it's interesting. So Comey is having a little back and forth with John Brennan, but Comey's also having a little back and forth with Andrew McCabe. They have a dispute on a couple things too. What's the common denominator here on people having disputes with people involved in this investigation? James Comey? It's funny, and James Comey's doing all these interviews, and he had a town hall on CNN, and let me get a second FTG. James Comey deserves a second FTG. Give me an FTG for James Comey. the RNC are just playing cowards. Well, yeah, some are. I don't think, I don't think Jim Jordan's a coward. Clearly Trey Gowdy wasn't, but Trey Gowdy left the house. There's a few of them in there that are going to be asking some pretty pointed questions. So I thought I had something with Jim Jordan here too. Let's see. Oh, here's so here now. I didn't even know I had this one up. This is May 14th, so this is a couple days ago. Apparently, Trump is proud of Attorney General Barr for efforts to probe Russia investigation origins. Yeah, that's what's happening. The Inspector General right now is already on this, but then now the Attorney General is also starting to stick his fingers into it. Attorney General Bill Barr has tapped U.S. Attorney for the District of Connecticut. Oh, I read this a couple days ago. I still have this up. I don't know why I still have this up. I don't know why I have this up. We're gonna skip this, but anyway, yeah. This is. I got a feeling. I got a feeling that this one is not gonna go well for James Comey. But you know what? You know what I forgot earlier too. While we're thinking about the FTGs, can we get an FTG for Bill de Blasio? I'm sorry. I don't think Bill de Blasio has a chance in hell. So just we'll get one of those too. All right, let's move on. Good God. All right, we're done with Bill de Blasio. Oh, this is the other thing too. So this came up, and I know people hate it when I bring up Hillary Clinton. At least people on the left or Democrats or whatever, they hate it when you bring up Hillary Clinton. Well, apparently she's not the only one who may be implicated in some of this stuff. The Obama White House tracked FOIA requests for Hillary's emails that was improperly denied. So, Judicial Watch has been all over this. They've been trying. Judicial Watch is an organization that I'm sure you're familiar with. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, by the way. They have done a lot of heavy lifting on this whole thing. The reason we knew that Hillary Clinton was using a private server instead of official government email is because of Judicial Watch FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests. Well, apparently the Obama White House tracked FOIA requests for Hillary's email that was improperly denied. Emails released to Judicial Watch show for the first time that the Obama White House kept tabs on a FOIA request for information on Hillary Clinton's emails that was improperly rejected by the State Department. The State Department claimed in May 2013 in response to the FOIA request that no responsive records existed. The agency's internal watchdog later determined that denial to be inaccurate and incomplete since Clinton used a personal email account to conduct State Department business. These documents suggest that the Obama White House knew about the Clinton email lies being told to the public at least as early as December 2012, says Judicial Watch Chairman Tom Fitton. Interesting. The Obama White House kept tabs on a Freedom of Information Act request for information on former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's email accounts that the State Department improperly denied, according to newly released emails. So they knew about it. I could have swore. Now I'm trying to figure out, when did President Obama say that he found out about this on the news reports that he saw on TV? I can't remember when that was. Anyway, the emails which were provided to Judicial Watch show for the first time that the Obama White House was aware of the Clinton-related FOIA requests, which the liberal liberal watchdog group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, CREW, submitted to the State Department in December 2012. So this wasn't even Judicial Watch's FOIA request. This was the CREW is a kind of the left side's version of Judicial Watch, and it was their FOIA request. Ha! Interesting. The State Department denied the request on May 20, 2013, claiming that no responsive records existed. Despite officials at the State Department, the White House, and even President Obama himself knowing that Clinton used a personal email account for government business. The State Department's Inspector General determined in a report released January 7, 2016, that the State Department's denial of the CREW request was inaccurate and complete. It is not clear from the emails why the White House was interested in the request, but Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton has a theory. Now, his theory is probably interesting, and he might be even correct, but it is a theory. It's not, fact. His theory: these documents suggest the Obama White House knew about the Clinton email lies being told to the public at least as early as December 2012. He said in a statement, the Obama White House orchestrated the Clinton email cover-up, he added. Several FOIA requests were filed for information on the Clinton email accounts during her tenure at the State Department, which ended February 1st, 2013. The most specific request was the one from CREW, which was submitted on December 6th, 2012. The group filed a FOIA request for information on the personal email accounts of several cabinet officials, including Clinton. Had the State Department fulfilled the FOIA request, the public might have learned much earlier than it did that Clinton used a personal email account hosted on a private email server while at the State Department. Clinton used the email address hdr22 clinton@clintonemail.com. It was not revealed publicly until March 2015 in a New York Times report. So that's really interesting. Of course, the other part is we already knew that President Obama knew she was using a fake email account because he was using a pseudonym email account to correspond with her at her non-government account. It's amazing. It is just amazing. A day after the CREW request was submitted, a FOIA official from the State Department notified two of Clinton's top State Department aides, Cheryl Mills, you might know that name, and Heather Samuelson. Both Mills and Samuelson communicated with Clinton directly on her personal email account. The first indication of a White House involvement is found in a December 20th, 2012 email sent out by the State Department's top FOIA official. Cheryl Walter, the State Department official in charge of the FOIA request, told State Department officials, quote, White House called. We have received a FOIA request from CREW, Citizens for Responsible Ethics in Washington, on the topic of personal use of email by senior officials. Apparently other agencies have. If we have it, can you give me the details so I can call the White House back? I think they'd like it on a quick turnaround. Thanks, Cheryl. So that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. That means that the White House called. Oh, yeah, and I'm sure, someone in the White House, someone in those offices called, but you know what? Obviously, they wouldn't tell President Obama. They wouldn't bother President Obama with that little minor detail, would they? Would anyone in the White House? And it could have been an intern who called. Who knows? It could be anybody. Why would they tell? Why would President Obama know about that? Why? All right, this is a really long one. I'm not going to go in here. They CREW appealed the denial. They eventually got it, but man, all kinds of nonsense going on. All right, let's let's get into Twitter trends. I'm going to go in a little early today. Just a reminder. Let me give you a couple of reminders before we get into Twitter trends, though. Let me just click this real quick. Click that, and then click one more thing real quick here, and then. All right, let me give you a couple reminders. First of all, it's chill time. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live, and you know what? All y'all who come in here every day, it's so cool to have you here. It'd be great if you can let other people know and bring some friends. We'll have try to have some fun. We're definitely going to have some fun tomorrow because our guest tomorrow is Hotep Jesus, aka Vibe High, the originator of Reparations Coffee. Okay, we'll check out his original Reparations Starbucks stuff, and we'll talk about some news of the day, and kind of we're going to talk a little bit about what the Hotep moniker means. I'm going to ask him some questions about that, and then we'll do just a little lightning round. I think you'll enjoy it. He's a funny dude, real bright young gentleman. I enjoy some of his stuff. Also, just a reminder, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you. If you can hit down here, hit that share button, share it out to people on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, what else? Reddit, LinkedIn. They even have a LinkedIn. They even have a LinkedIn share. So if you do it to someone different each day, maybe we'll get a few more viewers here. Maybe we can get 1,000. I gotta have 1,000 subscribers before I leave in June. Because we're going on the road in June. June 11th, we're gonna do a West Coast tour from Portland to San Diego down the Pacific Coast Highway, because my son is graduating and that's what he wants to do. So we'll be doing the show live on the road. Also, if you haven't done it yet, down here is also the like button and the dislike button. You don't have to like me. I prefer it if you like me. I've had pretty good. We've had a pretty good like to dislike ratio, almost a lot to none. That's good too. Also, we do super chats on this channel. It's via Streamlabs. It's down in the description if because Sarah's not here today to put it in the chat. In fact, I'll put it in the chat. If you ever want to support the show financially, we appreciate that too. So there we go. Many of you have been very generous, and I tell you, I appreciate you guys so much who have been able to do that. Absolutely, it's not necessary, but it is greatly appreciated. It gives me all the incentive that I ever need to continue doing this, because it makes it a lot of fun, but it also helps pay my cable bill. Let's put it that way. So here we go. Let's get into some Twitter trends, because that's what we do every day. We do Twitter. We check out the Twitter trends because we want to know what people are going to be talking about later today, because a lot of you guys watch a lot of different shows, so you're probably going to be hearing about some of these topics later in the day. So Pete, let me know when you get to Southern California. I'll support your coffee habits. Thank you so much, Crack. That's awesome. That's we're going to be going from like basically mid-June to late June. In fact, my mom lives in Omaha. That's my mom that I grew up with. My mother lives in Long Beach, so we are going to get to visit her. And I have three of my sisters live in California. One of my brothers lives in California, and I have tons of cousins and relatives down in the Los Angeles area. So it's going to be a fun trip. It'll be cool. All right. So here we go. Let's get to Twitter trends. Now, trending number one, of course, is the Thursday thing. The fact that I'm finding this hilarious. So Bill de Blasio announced on Good Morning America this morning that he's running for president, and he's still trending number 2 on Twitter behind Thursday Thoughts. He can't even get at the top of Twitter trends. I mean, granted, there's been 22 other people who have announced for president, but Bill de Blasio, he's from New York City. New York City is the biggest city in America. There's 25 million people in the metro of New York City, and he can't trend on Twitter when he announces for president. Oh, that just tells you a lot. It was funny because he did a press conference at Trump Tower the other day, and there were hecklers galore. They were heckling the hell out of him. He might as well run for president, because I don't think he could be elected mayor again. I don't think New Yorkers really like. But anyway, let's get back to trending number 1, Thursday Thoughts. At the top of Thursday Thoughts, Tom Hall has this "What a Smile." Oh, is this kid getting glasses for the first time? Oh, look at this. This is cute. Here, hang on. I'm going to blow this up and start it over. There we go. Okay, so this kid seems to be not happy about the glasses, but here we go.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hi, Munchkin.
Aww.
You like
You like them? I don't know if
They look upside down. Hi.
Oh, look, you can see. Things aren't blurry anymore. Maybe. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. But got a big smile after you put the glasses on. So that's kind of cute. Why do we allow this nonsense in Sunny? Oh, those are colorblind glasses? Is that what they are?
Hi. You like them, huh?
Okay. I'm not familiar with that. All right. Let's see. No one woke up and wished for him or herself to be an orphan. May God bless every orphan out there. Hey, I can relate to that because the first 4 years of my life, I was an orphan, so to speak. Actually, I lived in a foster home in Dubuque, Iowa, on a farm until I was adopted. So, yeah, absolutely. That's a good Thursday thought. What else we got? Let's see. If you laugh at... Okay, there's a race here. If you laugh at 45 seconds, retweet. If not, my bad. Okay, let's see what they're doing here. Obviously, there's a race going on. Maybe looks like a relay race, maybe? No? All right, let's check this out. At 45 seconds, something funny is supposed to happen. Okay, so the one kid caught up. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! You ran the wrong way. And the parent couldn't even catch her. Oh, that's so funny. That's cool. That's funny. All right. They are like $300 for cheap ones. Oh, wow. That's a lot. Anyway, all right. So anyway, the Thursday thoughts. And then let's see. Let's find one more good Thursday thought here. It is, you know what? It's Mental Health Awareness Month. And this is whoever here, never think of suicide. No matter what life deals you, you have the ace to make it work. Suicide is not an option. Sniper, okay, this is so. This person is Nigerian. That's the little Nigerian flag there. So a lot of times the way things are written are going to be a little bit different than you're used to. I listen to a lot of my Nigerian relatives. Sniper, no be juice. Rope, be no tie. Lagoon, be no swimming pool. Depression is real. Pick yourself up and face reality. A man down fears no fall. But also be open and talk to someone. If you're having mental health issues, if you are feeling down, if you have things going on in your life that are too heavy for you to burden, go see help. Sometimes even if it's not even a family member, go see your doctor. That's what doctors are trained to do. And they either can help you or they can recommend someone to talk to. But man, going through life on tough things, you got to get help. All right. Number 2, Bill de Blasio. We already talked about him. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio has officially launched the 2020 presidential campaign. He's the 23rd. He's the Michael Jordan of Democratic presidential candidates. And I don't mean he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he's number 23. He's definitely. Oh, let's see. Oh, Donald Trump had to say something about it. The Dems are getting another beauty to join their group. Bill de Blasio of New York City, considered the worst mayor in the United States, will supposedly be making an announcement for president today. He is a joke, but if you like high taxes and crime, he's your man. New York City hates him. Oh, Donald J. Trump. I'll tell you what. 12,000 comments on that. I got a feeling that something like it's going to be, what's the hashtag that's going to come out of this from the people who can't help themselves? Probably something like New York, it'll probably be like America hates you or some bullshit. It'll be some, Trump can't not trend in the day. And we'll see what we'll see what else is trending here. But I got a feeling Trump's going to be a big part of trending on Twitter every day. Here's the New York Post cover. This is hilarious. Bill de Blasio runs for president. Oh my gosh, yeah. The New York Post has a love-hate with Bill de Blasio. Bill de Butthole. I see that, Lord Rothschild. Oh my gosh. Jim Hoft. If you like, okay, that's you mentioned the president's tweet. Candace Owen. I'm done with Candace. My Kingdom for a picture of Bill de Blasio on a tractor. Yeah, you know how presidential candidates always feel like they gotta, pander to wherever they go. That's now, me, I'm wishy-washy as far as Trump goes, although I am seriously considering actually voting for a presidential candidate in 2020, and it probably won't have a D behind his name. The one thing that I do appreciate about Trump, okay, Trump never tries to be something that he's not. Have you ever seen Donald Trump go on the campaign trail and wear anything but a suit and a really nice solid color silk tie? You never see him riding tractors or wearing flannel shirts or eating pork chop on a stick out the Iowa State Fair, or trying to sitting inside of a dairy barn seeing if he could learn how to milk a cow or some BS like that. He kisses babies, but he's always wearing a really nice suit when he does it. Donald Trump doesn't try to be anything other than Donald Trump. Now, Bill de Blasio, I doubt if we'll see him on a tractor. I think Bill de Blasio, although you'll probably see him in some casual wear. I kind of think of, I think one of the things about Trump is he dresses for the job he wanted when he was campaigning, and he wanted the job president of the United States, so he dressed like the president of the United States at all times. And I wish it's refreshing for candidates who do that. He's probably not the only one. Seeing, who was it that looks, John Kerry, when he was running for president, he was in a flannel shirt this one time. I can't remember what the event was. He was in a flannel shirt and he just looked so stupid. And then they had the picture of him windsurfing. Oh my gosh, he just got battered for that one. Now maybe, that's probably one of the reasons though that George Bush got a lot of crap, because he would go to his ranch and he'd be clearing brush and stuff like that. But at least it kind of looked like with him that he actually did that once in a while. But anyway, all right. What else are people saying about Bill de Blasio? I'm going to try to get away from people from let's see. Michael Tracy, he's a kind of left side, whatever. If you have business before the city and you want the contracting process expedited, a great way to achieve that goal is to donate large sums to Bill de Blasio's presidential campaign. Bill already mastered the kinds of fundraising tactics. Now he takes it to a national stage. Oh, God. Okay, apparently Bill de Blasio is a typical New York mayor. I want to find somebody from New York that's not a... Okay, David Burge, he's Iowa Hawk blog. He's from Iowa, and if you're not familiar with the Iowa-Minnesota rivalry, I'm advising Bill de Blasio on a strategy for Iowa. I'm telling him to go all in on the groundhog killing thing. It's a gopher, David. It's a gopher, not a groundhog. A gopher. Oh, man. Oh, Bill de Blasio will fix the country like he fixed the New York City subway. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't... Ooh, man. Oh, that's right. He also dropped a groundhog on Groundhog Day and it died. Oh, my gosh. Oh, okay. Enough of Bill de Blasio. I could probably stick to him all day. Oh yeah, Dukakis riding the tank. That was hilarious too. Oh my gosh, that was funny. That was that. I mean, a lot of people think that Michael Dukakis riding in a tank may have lost him the campaign because it was the most ridiculous thing ever. Also, his answer on the death penalty, he was asked a question. I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Dukakis. He ran against, I think, George Herbert Walker Bush. Is that right? Did he run against Reagan Secretary or George? Oh, no, he ran against George Herbert Walker Bush in the only term that George Bush, the senior, won. He was asked a question during a debate about the death penalty. And the question was, if your wife were brutally beaten and raped, would you want the death penalty for, the perpetrator? And he gave this really just technical something answer. It was zero emotion whatsoever. Not even talking about how his wife would feel and this and that. And everyone's just like, whoa, dude, did you hear the question? Did you even hear the question they asked you? It was just an amazing piece of theater. And between that and his tank ride, oh my gosh, he was just pilloried. Anyway, moving on. Number 3, abortion is a woman's right. And the top one is Ben Shapiro. Okay. Life is a right. In fact, unlike abortion, which is not a right, life is specified directly in the Declaration of Independence, as well as the 5th and 14th Amendments, and remains the most fundamental right of all. Okay, so there's Ben's take on that hashtag. Let's see, this cognitive society, campaigners are literally running campaigns to keep abortion legal. Just let that sink in. This is how far back we are. We're not fighting to be progressive anymore. We're fighting not to be regressive. Okay, so that's their opinion on that. I'm just to stay neutral on this as much as I can. I'm just let's just see what people are saying. Miss K, GOP, God forbid a pervert could come into a woman's bathroom and spy on you peeing. Also, GOP, you got raped by an actual pervert in the bathroom. You better carry that baby, bitch. Okay, wow. That's harsh. This is, you know what? It's one of those emotional topics that nobody's got to win the opinion over of others. I just, I think Alabama's, here's my thing. I can tell you right now, the Alabama law and others like it in other states are going to get struck down by the Supreme Court. The precedent has been too long. I know that there's, the originalist, Justice Thomas, could write why that the original Roe versus Wade decision was wrongly decided. And I'm pretty sure that, he is correct. The original decision probably was wrongly decided. And so, it's possible he could write something like that again, but I don't think the majority of the court will ever overturn Roe versus Wade. And the law in Alabama is a law that strictly bans it, in their state. And I just don't think it's going to be upheld. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time arguing with people about it. I have my nuanced position is probably not appreciated by anybody. So that's why I don't spend a lot of time talking about it. All right. Number 4, Thursday motivation. We're skipping. Number 5, I refuse to apologize for. Now this is interesting because it's trending with pro-choice always. But there are a lot of I refuse to. I was going through this hashtag this morning. It was number 1 when I woke up. And there's a lot of interesting ones that have nothing to do with the abortion issue. And I thought some of them were pretty good. So we'll go through a few of these. I refuse to apologize for becoming the mad queen you've always known I would become. That's a little old Game of Thrones reference. Ranting Monkey's on here. I refuse to apologize for making jokes others are too uptight to enjoy. Hell yeah. Pro-Life Action League. I refuse to apologize for showing images of the victims of abortion. They were our brothers and sisters, and we must never forget them. Okay, we're in that. Senator Cruz, I'm going to skip him. Oh, good God. The son is pro-life. Trump stands as zygote and a person. That's right. I'm going to skip the abortion ones because I would want the ones that are not related to abortion. Okay, that's a right to choose one. Devout Christian one. That's on one side or the other. That. Let's see. There's some funny ones. Well, here's one. I mean, this is. Oh gosh. Ed Krasenstein. Oh my God. I don't care what his is about. I'm going to read it because he's a nitwit and I have to read. I can't. It's like Ed Krasenstein and Brian Krasenstein are like car accidents. You just slow down to look. You do it. I know you do it. Ed Krasenstein. I refuse to apologize for President Trump. Yeah, I'm sure he's devastated. I knew if I voted for a self-described pussy grabber, this country would go downhill. That's why I'll vote for anyone but Trump in 2020. Who's with me? Well, I don't know, Ed. I don't know if I'm with you, dude. I hate to say it. Good morning, Functional. I see you're in the chat. I just caught you there. Hi, Evil One. First of all, the self-described pussy grabber. He told a tasteless joke in private, probably just joking. You know what? I've heard men tell joke amongst men that are as bad as or worse than that had no intention to it other than it was a joke. Refer to this. Let's go back and refer to this. I refuse to apologize for making jokes others are too uptight to enjoy. There you go. Thank you, Ranting Monkey, for taking the words right out of my mouth. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have to remember to say that to Ed. Ed is the cuter and skinnier twin. He's the better looking twin of the Krasenstein brothers, and my condolences to Brian Krasenstein for stating that fact. But it is true. Ed is the better looking of the two. I refuse to apologize for my kid body slamming his bully to the ground, making him cry. You know what? That's a little Schadenfreude, instant karma justice if that happened. Okay. Oh, this is cute. I refuse to apologize for speaking out against the lawlessness and lies from the orange Twitler on a daily basis. With a very sometimey media normalizing him, too many folks become complacent with constant barrage of gaslighting. We could never accept it. This is not normal. Yeah, whatever. The Trump haters are out in force. I refuse to... Okay, that's an abortion one. That's an abortion one. I refuse to apologize for laughing at that video. That video was funny. The poor little kid going the wrong way. Oh, ambitious. I refuse to apologize for being a proud black woman. I love who I am, what I look like, heritage, and my culture. Despite American societies that try to make me believe otherwise, who the fuck is trying to make you believe otherwise? No one cares. Is there... Seriously. Okay. Despite American society trying to make me believe otherwise, that you're a proud black woman, you love who you are, what you look like, your heritage and culture. No! That's just the opposite. They're not trying to make you believe otherwise, and in fact, American society loves the fact that you love yourself. If you love yourself and you are proud of who you are and you love who you are and you like what you look like and you like your heritage and you like your culture, Americans say more power to you. Nobody cares about that. Good God. That's that thing I keep talking about. we're so busy trying to say that people are trying to hold us down when the exact opposite is true. People celebrate you when you are successful. People celebrate when you take advantage of the opportunities that are afforded you. People celebrate you and want you to be the example if you are proud and happy with who you are and what your life is like and what you do. Stop this bullshit. My God, I get tired of that shit. Nobody, nothing. Who's asking you to apologize for being a proud black woman? Nobody. God damn. Oh. Lots of people going back and forth on the abortion thing on this, because I'm sure that's why this came out. I refuse to apologize for finishing that bottle of wine. Always brings out the fantastic dancer in me. Moving on. Next hashtag. Alabama abortion bill. We've talked enough about abortion today. Missouri Senate. Trending with Missouri Senate. What are they doing now? Breaking. Missouri Senate has passed a bill that would ban abortions after 8 weeks. Only exceptions will be for medical reasons. Rape, incest will not be considered as exception. The bill needs one more vote by the Republican-controlled House. The governor will sign it. God, y'all, I don't know why all these states are doing this. I just don't know. I just don't know that this is productive. P-Dog, you aren't allowed to be a strong and proud black woman. Okay. Well, no, I'm allowed because I can say I'm whatever I want to say anymore, and you're not allowed to question me. So if I say I'm a proud black woman, I'm a proud black woman. I'm not a, you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying. Okay. God, it's just, I don't know that this is productive. I know those of you who are 100% against abortion, I get why you think this is a good thing. I don't know. I think they added the rape and incest thing, so when they give it up, the abortion people will think they won. Yeah, I don't know. It's that subject that it's a tough one. Anyway, moving on. Number 8, Wily Wars. Mega Man, the Wily Wars, Sonic Spinball, Beyond the Oasis, and more have been added to the Sega Mini Console titles list. So if you have a Sega Mini Console, there's 10 new titles to choose from. All right, moving on. Bob Hawke. Who is Bob Hawke? Tributes are pouring in, and former Australian Prime Minister Bob Hawke, who passed away peacefully in his home at age 89. So that's who Bob Hawke is, and he's trending, probably because a lot of Australians are talking about him. Bob Hawke has died, a great man who made this country confident, a great man who never lost his humility. Guinness Book of Records, 1954, 2.5 pints of beer in 11 seconds. Rhodes Scholar, trade union leader, prime minister, statesman. Thanks for everything, Mr. Hawke. Okay, so there we go. This is where he'd set the record. 2.5 pints in 11 seconds. That's some. He's used one of those yards there. Those are hard to drink out of, especially. See, once you get at this angle, if you drink out of a yard, okay, it's fine at this point. But when you get this bulb up past halfway, there's this whole big gush of beer that comes at you really fast. You got to be really careful. You kind of got to spit it so it comes out slowly. Otherwise, the whole beer is on your shirt. There's a bar here. The first bar I ever went to in Minneapolis is called Jay Cousineau's down in it's an area called St. Anthony's, Maine, and they sold yard beers. And I thought that was the coolest thing because I had never seen one until I moved here, and so drinking yard beers is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, when that bulb gets up past parallel, you got to watch out if you ever drank a yard beer. All right, Conrad Black. President Trump grants a full pardon to Conrad Black. Who is? I know that name. Let's see. When my assistant said there was a call from the White House, I picked up, said hello and started to ask if this was a prank, suspecting my friends in the British tabloid media. But the caller spoke politely over to me. Please hold for the president. Okay, who is Conrad Black? I'm not familiar. What did he do? Conrad Black, the president of the United States, called. I was being pardoned at last. Okay. 2 counts for which I have just received a presidential pardon, and of which I was convicted in 2011 after the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously vacated them, only to have a self-serving appellate judge reinstate them, were for wire fraud and obstruction of justice. The alleged fraud was the reception of $285,000 in my office in Toronto while I was in England from our American company, which is approved by independent directors referred to in public filings of the corporation, but which the company's secretary had not completely formalized, in what the trial judge correctly regarded as a clerical error on the secretary's part. The reinvention of this crime enabled the appellate panel, to whom the Supreme Court reminded the vacated counts, to assess the gravity of their own errors, to resuscitate the account of obstruction of justice against me. This consisted of my removal of boxes of personal papers and material that had already been furnished to the Securities and Exchange Commission, which I took out under security cameras I had installed with the approval of the acting president of the company and the principal member president in court. So apparently, yeah, he had an obstruction of justice charge. So he's writing this article himself. That's his side of the story. I wonder if anyone, let's see if there's any detractors on this. Oh, here we go. So, of course, there's going to be something about white nationalists. President just pardoned Conrad Black. Black called the white nationalist plan to unite the right rally a reasonable civic demonstration by Southern traditionalists. Well, perhaps the part he knew about was, but let's see. Here's Conrad Black's take on Charlottesville. Almost everything about the Charlottesville riot was disgraceful except the conduct of the president. The move to take down the statue of General Robert E. Lee was nonsense. Lee has few rivals as the greatest general in American history. Grant, Sherman, MacArthur, and Eisenhower perhaps. He opposed the secession of Virginia from the Union, but as was common in the South then, and had not entirely died out in any region of the United States today, believed he owed his first loyalty to his state over the United States. He was less dedicated to the virtues of slavery than was Charlottesville's most famous son, Thomas Jefferson, founder of the university, a neighbor in Monticello, and of course the author of the self-evident truth that all men are created equal. This terrible incident started as a reasonable civic demonstration by Southern traditionalists who were not hostile to African Americans, but object to the shamed renunciation of a great American heroic and folkloric figure, from Gone with the Wind to the bands The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down to the Dukes of Hazzard. Robert E. Lee was not a precursor of Bull Connor, Strom Thurmond, James O'Reilly, or the unreformed George Wallace. So, okay, so I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with that statement. There were people there that were just there about the statue. There were assholes there that probably most of those people didn't want to be associated with. And it has nothing to do with the dickheads from the night before carrying the tiki torches. So, okay, I'm trying to, what's your issue here? Is that false, true or false? It's probably true. Those are probably the good people on that side the president was talking about. Yes, there were dickheads on that side too. The guys who were carrying the tiki torches the night before. Issue, really? Okay, yeah, and people are still dragging him for this. Conrad Black and white nationalist Faith Goldie. Anyone who is tempted to vote for Goldie because she is smart, brave, and appealing candidate, or in revulsion against the priggish dishonesty of the media, should do it. Okay, I don't have a dog in the fight when it's concerning Faith Goldie. I mean, I can't figure her out. That's my biggest issue. I can't figure her out. Is she, because I don't know. She pretends to be not a white nationalist, but she hangs around with the white nationalists. I don't know. I don't care. She's irrelevant to me. But let's see. So that's going to be the lead though now in all of the stories about this. Now that Conrad Black is trending. So here's one. News. President Trump has granted a full pardon to former media mogul Conrad Black, who served 36 months in federal prison on a fraud condition. Black also wrote this book last year. Okay, so maybe that probably helped getting him a pardon. Donald Trump, a president like no other. Let's see. Citizens for Ethics. Conrad Black was convicted in 2007 on fraud charges, including alleged embezzlement and obstruction of justice. Remember, that was struck down by the Supreme Court, and the obstruction of justice charge was brought back by the appellate judge who recharged. Conrad Black last year wrote a glowing book about Trump's successes. Okay. Conrad Black was just pardoned by President Trump. Okay. So, oh boy. Oh, interesting. He was originally targeted by U.S. Attorney, now Comey Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald. SCOTUS tossed the main conviction. Yeah, the Supreme Court tossed it out. So, anyway, that's a little bit about Conrad Black. I'm sure we'll be hearing about why, he's a lying, cheating bastard or whatever they want to call him. So, whatever. Half of America. I would like to know if the Congress sincerely believes half of America watches Fox News. Fox News had 3.7 million daily viewers in April, which, assuming most are repeat viewers, is probably no more than 2 or 3% of the population. Oh, okay. They're referring to something that Dan Crenshaw says. Why do you have such contempt for half of America? Labeling and insulting the other side as full of racism and hate is a cheap attempt to undermine ideas so that you don't have to actually confront them. It is an intellectually void strategy. Referring to Elizabeth Warren's statement, I won't do a town hall with Fox. We talked about this yesterday. I won't do a town hall with Fox News because I won't invite millions of Democrat primary voters to tune in, inflate ratings, and help sell ads for an outlet that profits from racism and hate. If you agree, sign our petition. Yeah, she's trying to get Fox News taken out. Probably ain't going to happen. But so yes. The people saying that half of America does not watch Fox News is absolutely correct. But half of America is kind of on that side, even if they watch Fox News nightly or not. Yeah, so whatever, man. So apparently half America, is that because Dan, so everyone's being pedantic here. Dan Crenshaw, half of America watches Fox News. No, he did not say that. His words were, why do you have contempt for half of America? Probably meaning right-leaning people. There are right-leaning people and there are left-leaning people. Half of America are right-leaning people, half of America are left-leaning people. I'm sure he wasn't saying that half of America watches Fox News. But you know what? Oh, Dan Crenshaw, half of America watches Fox News? No, he didn't say that. Fox News daily ratings, 4.1 million. U.S. population, 3.272 million. Or 327.2 million. Crenshaw claimed 50% reality. You're just being pedantic assholes. But that's okay. That tends to happen. All right. Because Dan Crenshaw is probably... Dan Crenshaw's a rising star because of his style. He is the most laid back. It's disarming for him. He just tries to be factual. He doesn't try to get into hyperbole. He gives people credit on the other side when they say things that are right. And he's one of those people that it's hard not to like him even if you disagree with him. So anyway, Jeff Koons. Oh, who is Jeff Koons? Steel Rabbit breaks the record for highest sale for a living artist. Okay, he's an artist who made this Steel Rabbit thing, and an inflatable rabbit made from steel broke the record for the highest amount paid for a piece made by a living artist. How much did they pay for this? Thing? The Steel Rabbit. What? Here, let's look at this thing. Why? how much they pay? $58 freaking million for a freaking what? The hell? Somebody paid. Somebody paid $58 million for this thing, for the Steel Rabbit. God dang, I should have went into art. I'm sure. Well, no, because it's got to be something quirky. It's got to be something weird. $58 million. That's at the Christie's auction. So the top amount ever paid for a piece by a living artist. Okay. Steel Rabbit. Gotcha. All right, moving on. A 3 foot tall silver bunny just set an art world record. That's why I don't pay attention to art either. Holy moly. Bob Hawke trending with. Oh, that's the guy who died. He died. Nick Krigos, he's what is he? Takes aim at tennis greats in a very honest interview. Okay, this dude, let's see, tennis star Nick Kyrgios sat down with NCR Tennis for a very honest interview. Well, I don't know. Oh, he had a rough day at the old Italian Open. Threw his racket, kicked a water bottle, threw a bench chair. Yeah, they'll probably find him. Oh, this is him losing it. Here, let's see here. Watch this. Let's see. Let's watch. Maybe this is why he's trending.
Jockey party, 1 game all. Code violation of sportsmanlike conduct. Game penalty, Mr. Curios.
And now he smashes the racket. All right, now he's going to kick the water bottle. And now he's going to throw a chair after he got a penalty. And he's throwing the chair.
Referee to court.
He's swearing a little bit. Not your typical tennis behavior. But you know what? Hey, remember when Serena Williams got penalized for a game in tennis or something like that, and then she got penalized for a match, and they said this wouldn't happen to a man?
Jockey party, 1 game all. Code violation of sportsmanlike conduct.
See, so they do it to men too, and this guy is a minor dude, so you know what? If you set an example on the court, you got to be sportsmanlike. All right, moving on. Anything else good on here? SAT. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh, this is good. People are going to be making videos about this one, people. I guarantee you're going to be hearing this one a lot in the next week or so. The College Board is introducing an adversity score to the SAT, which will be calculated using 15 factors, according to the Wall Street Journal. Let's see. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is cool and all. And then someone says, this is cool and all, but could we just get rid of the SAT requirement altogether and save people valuable time and money? Just saying. Oh my God. Oh, I can't read the full story. God. Let's just read the beginning. And the College Board plans to assign an adversity score to every student who takes the SAT to try to capture their social and economic background, jumping into the debate raging over race and class in college admissions. Motherfuckers. You know what? Stop this nonsense! Tell kids that they can achieve if they put their nose in the damn book. Okay? It's not... This kind of shit just gives me a headache, and I want to find the full story. Someone's gonna reprint the full story somewhere, and I'm gonna find it. In fact, let's do this. Let's just copy and paste this into my little browser here. See if anybody's already copied the story. Let's see. There's the Wall Street Journal. Let's see. Reddit. Okay. Well, let's see. Here, let's try. Let's see if they recopied the story here. All right, here it is. This may not be the full story either. I can't read that. It's too small. Let's try another one. I saw a couple of them on here. I'm going to blow a gasket. I am going to blow a gasket. You got to be effing kidding me. Is this a... Nope, that's not doing it. Let's not... Here we go. The College Board plans to assign an adversity score to every student who takes the SAT to try to capture their social and economic background, jumping into the debate raging over race and class. And maybe they're just doing it for tracking purposes. I hope that's what this means. I hope they're just trying to... But no, because they're assigning an adversity score. Kiss my ass. Although, actually, hold on. Let me back up here. It may, if this is designed so they can find trends in socioeconomic status as far as scoring, maybe that would be a good measure, and they can figure out where they can make improvements and stuff. But if they're using this as an admissions thing, I'm sorry. Don't, you know what? Then that tells you the SAT and ACT actually has been a pretty good measure of how successful a student will be as a student in college. Now, it's not the be-all, end-all. There are obviously students who decide once they leave high school that they're going to work a lot harder when they're in college, and there's other students who did great in high school and maybe did a great SAT score, and then in college said, I just want to drink beer and chase girls or boys or whatever they chase. But it absolutely has been a fairly consistent predictive measure of how well a student does in college and where they should be placed. Now, let me read the rest of this. This new number, called an adversity score by college admissions officers, is calculated using 15 factors, including the crime rate and poverty levels from the student's high school and neighborhood. Students won't be told the scores, but colleges will see the numbers when reviewing their applications. 50 colleges used the score last year as part of a beta test. The College Board plans to expand it to 150 institutions this fall, and then use it broadly in the following year. How colleges consider a student's race and class in making admission decisions is hotly contested. Many colleges, including Harvard University, say a diverse student body is part of the educational mission of a school. Now, on that statement alone, remember maybe was it yesterday or a couple days ago, I was talking about this. Students of color, so to speak, or black students, or people in my community, you know that there are people out there that want you to succeed. There are opportunities for you. People are competing, majorly competing for the top students. That's why whenever you see a story, a feel-good story in the news about the student who got accepted to all the Ivy Leagues, all 8 Ivy League schools, it's always some black kid or it's always some Nigerian kid, but it's always some black kid. Because if you excel as a minority, right now everybody wants you. Employers want you, schools want you, everyone's competing for you. So the world is your oyster if you just learn that the opportunities are there. Well, who needs reparations? Every college in the country has reparations for black kids who do well. You know what I'm saying? So I hate this idea because I don't think they should lower their standards for anybody. I think you should strive to reach those standards. Okay. And I'd guarantee you any minority kid, who's not Asian, because for some reason, there's too many Asians, they think. If you excel, man, you can go anywhere you want and somebody's going to pay for it for you. That's your reparations. Okay. As annoying as this kind of shit is, it reminds me that we got to stop telling kids that, oh, the white man's trying to hold you down. Oh, you are at a disadvantage because of slavery back in 1864. or you're a kid born in 1997 or 2000, better yet, a kid born in 2007, some 12-year-old kid, and you're telling them they're never going to be able to do anything because racism? Bullshit. You have more opportunities than anyone in my past and farther back, you know. And I remember I have a grandfather who got a law degree during the Great Depression. You have more opportunities than my grandfather did, and he was a lawyer back then, you know. So don't tell me that this kind of bullshit pisses. Like I said, this kind of bullshit pisses me off. But in another way, it reminds me: don't make excuses of external factors, because if you do well, you can go as far as you want. You can go as far as you want. Anyway, let's see. A lawsuit accusing Harvard of admission to school. A lawsuit accusing Harvard of discriminating against Asian American applicants by holding them to a higher standard is awaiting a judge's ruling. Lawsuits charging unfair admission practices have also been filed against the University of North Carolina. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and the University of California System. The College Board, the New York-based nonprofit that oversees the SAT, said it has worried about income inequality influencing test results for years. White students scored an average of 177 points higher than black students and 133 points higher than Hispanic students. Yeah, what are the graduation rates differences between white students and black students and Hispanic students? That probably right there has something to do with it. That has nothing to do. Excuse me. Asian students scored 100 points higher than white students. I don't recall any Asians among the founding fathers. The children of wealthy and college-educated parents outperform their classmates. Shocker! Successful people expect things out of their kids? Is that a shocker to anybody? I'll bet you successful people's kids are expected to be a lot like them, too. So there are a number of amazing students who may have scored less on the SAT but have accomplished more. If they've accomplished more, the colleges will see that, said David Coleman, chief executive of the College Board. We can't sit on our hands and ignore the disparities of wealth reflected in the SAT. Well, except for those ones who paid to get better SAT scores. I'm talking to you, Felicity Huffman and Aunt... What's her name? Aunt Kelly? Aunt something. What's that from, what's her name? From Lori Loughlin when she played Aunt something. Aunt Becky. I'm talking to you, Aunt Becky. Yeah, Aunt Becky. You go to jail, Aunt Becky. The SAT, which includes math and verbal sections, is still taken with number 2 pencils, is facing challenges. Federal prosecutors revealed this spring that students cheated on both the SAT and ACT for years as a part of a far-reaching college admission cheating scheme. In Asia and the Middle East, both ACT and SAT exams have experienced security breaches. Okay, whatever. And so on and so on. You know what? I'm just saying. Every time I read an article like this, it just reminds me, there are opportunities if you're willing to do the shit that you need to do to be successful in school. I wish that were the message that schools would give, and stop worrying about being oppressed, even if you're poor. Man, I'll tell you what, my friend from high school that I played football with, he was poor as dirt. The only reason he played football is because guys used to give him their old shoes, but he was a pretty darn good football player. But he was poor, and he came to school with a dirty white t-shirt all the time. But he was smart as hell, man. He was smart as hell. Poor as hell, but smart as hell. And the dude, he ended up, I think he's a physics professor at some, I want to say like Northwestern University or something like that. I can't remember which school he's at now. But you know what? But I think his parent his mom just said, hey, you know, do this, do this, do this, and, you know, you'll do way better than me. And he did. And he's a very smart man, you know, did great, got his PhD in physics, teaches physics at a major university, because he loved physics. That was the funny thing. I mean, the dude was, it was just a great dude. Anyway, and, you know, so, and that was one black man that everyone should look up to, because he proved that you can do it. And I wish people would just keep telling kids, instead of saying, hey, this, the oppression shit, fuck that. You know, the only person who oppresses you is you. And on that note, I gotta get out of here. I'm late again. I have so much fun doing this. I can't stop when the time's going. I hope you all enjoyed being here today. Man, I didn't have a whole lot of FTGs. Maybe I get an FTG for the college board. Oh, so anyway, y'all, thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. You know, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for people who don't live in this part of the world and who know how to use GMT. I think we're +5 GMT. Anyway, Greenwich Mean Time. And hey, before you go, if you haven't already done so, down here, hit the like button. If you haven't shared, share it with people, because you know the like button doesn't automatically share anymore. That's why I keep saying hit the share button first. And then also, oh hey Necro, I didn't even say hi to you. You've probably been here for a while. Anyway, and also the Streamlabs link's there if you ever want to donate or do want to do super chats. I still use that. Remember, tomorrow our guest is going to be Vibe High, aka Hotep Jesus, aka the dude who brought us reparations coffee, and that should be fun tomorrow. Thank you all so much for being here. I gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.